WPRI-FM, Providence.
For 40 years, thousands of Rhode Islanders have been doing the same thing.
Pro FM.
Tuning their radio to 92 Pro FM.
Giovanni and Kim in the morning.
92 Pro FM, Giovanni and Kim at 646. The journey to 92 Pro FM you know and love today.
Today's in Music 92 Pro FM
began back in 1974.
WPRI-FM is going to change its program matters from its present format to stereo rock.
Hi, I'm Jack Diamond, but on April 29, 1974, I was known as Bruce Diamond, and I had the distinct honor and pleasure of being the very first personality ever heard on 92 Pro FM.
On that day, Super Rock PRO FM was born.
Now, what Gary Berkowitz didn't tell me was that when I flipped the switch at 3 o'clock from beautiful music to Top 40 and Madhavati to Paul McCartney and Wings and Jet, that I would also be answering the telephones. Well, they rang at 3:01, and every retiree in southern New England told me what they thought about my new format. I've been in hiding ever since.
Well, I think what happened was we built on the heritage of our AM sister station, WPRO, which was a powerhouse station. It was the station to listen to in the 1960s and 1970s. When we came along, FM radio was just starting to become in the more mainstream.
92 Pro FM isn't 40 years old, it's 40 years young.
It's a consistent radio station, always has been. But most importantly, I think Pro FM has a spirit that can't be equaled by anybody.
Consistency with a capital C. It's always played the hits 24/7, terrific personalities around the clock, and entertaining.
While others have worked at 92 Pro FM and moved on, only one guy has lived it every day.
I was an intern, or that's what they call it now, but back then it wasn't called an intern, just some kid hanging around and worked for free. Because I would, it's like getting into radio. I would do anything to be in the radio station. I would be here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'd work for free. I don't care. I just want to be there.
Some thought the new FM signal wouldn't last.
The guys in the AM station were still playing popular music, and they used to make fun of us because we were the kids downstairs, the wild, crazy teenagers and all that. And I think, but because of the fact that WPRO AM had such a great heritage mark in the market, the transition was pretty easy to make to FM. And as people got more FM radios, it was easy for them to just kind of glide on over.
Not only did they glide on over, but many never moved the dial again.
I just think that we've woven ourselves into the lives of the listeners. And I do remember a time way back when in the early days, we were all sitting around talking about the radio station. And, the whole basis of the station was, we're going to last so long that the kids that are listening now, their kids are going to listen, and their kids are going to listen. And guess what? That actually has happened.
I love hearing. My mom used to have you on in the car, and then I remember when you guys started, I was 10, and now my kid listens to it, and now her kids listen to it. That's an amazing accomplishment, and it doesn't surprise me at all looking back at all the people who have worked here and the people who still work here who've worked here forever.
I woke up with this station every single morning. Even when I worked at a different radio station, I wake up with Pro FM.
I think it's the great people, first of all, that have worked here throughout all the years, putting the radio station on the air right and through till today. And of course, the music. The music is always evolving.
Everyone remembers the first time they turned the microphone on and went live.
Oh yeah, I still saved my very first break. I think I forgot my name. I was like, today's Hit Music 92 Pro FM, I got through it though. It was 7 seconds. One of my longest breaks ever, still to this day.
I was horrified, I was petrified. I was 19 years old, and the kid that usually worked the weekend shift on a Saturday morning didn't make it. So the boss said, you have to fill in. Kid, you're going in.
First day on the air with Gio, 12 inches of snow, 9 pages of school cancellations when we still read them, and I pronounced half of the towns wrong.
My hands were trembling. I put my finger on the microphone. It was a late night, I'll never forget it. It was an overnight shift at midnight, and I thought there were 7 billion people listening. I was frightened to death.
I remember when you first got here, you were applying for an internship with the Rocky Island Morning Show.
I remember it like it was yesterday because it was one of the things that growing up in Rhode Island, like everyone else has said, it was the station that everybody wanted to be at.
This is definitely the place I wanted to be at. Being from this area, growing up in Warren, Rhode Island, and being able to work at 92 Pro FM, couldn't ask for more.
Even when I started in radio, I was just like, that's my goal, to work at 92 Pro FM before I'm 30 years old. Made it when I was 29, thank goodness, but I have no more goals in life.
Getting the chance to grow up and be on the radio you grew up listening to was an amazing thrill. Being on 92 Pro FM, it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of great times with a lot of great listeners, a lot of great promotions and clients, and we really had a great time, and they're still going to be having a great time on 92 Pro FM for a long time to come.
I got to work with, back in 1990, DJs from the heyday, probably one of the best lineups that the radio station's ever had. So I got to see Jimmy Gray do mornings, I got to see Tony Bristol do middays, David Simpson in afternoons, Big John Bina at night, Tony Mascaro late night, and even, overnight jocks when they existed. Jim Halfyard was doing overnights, and of course brought in by Giovanni, who's been here for 40 years.
I honestly don't know how we did it. All we do is play the hits, that's it. That's the formula. We play the hits. Whatever the current hit of the day, we play it. Back then it was Barry Manilow. Today it's Katy Perry. What's the difference? It's still a hit. A hit is a hit.
So happy 40th anniversary, 92 Pro FM, and welcome to the Radio Hall of Fame.